Welcome back to the Amy Kodachian and the Expert Show, where we have some of the top experts in the world to help you transform your business and personal life. I am your host, Amy Kodachian, not Kardashian.
And I am your co-host, Stephanie Thompson. I'm a classically trained singer-songwriter. Well, in this episode, and this is the fourth segment of 4 segments, I'm sad to say.
I know.
We've been enjoying so much talking with Les Allred, the first legally deaf NBA player, motivational speaker, just inspirational person to be around.
You guys don't understand. In the break time, we're talking about things, and
if you can't feel his energy through the camera, I don't know what to say. Yeah,
absolutely. It's so inspiring.
He's an author.
Yes. And it's just when you talk from the soul. I mean, it's just incredible. I could see where you put your goal. You want to be there because you are there. Mm-hmm. You have what it takes to do that. Mm-hmm. And your soul is just meant to do that. I'm so can't wait till I see you really where you need to be, and I'd be so proud to get to know you now. You know, it's amazing, and so humbled to have you in my academy. Thank you.
I feel like it's my birthday. Thank you guys.
It's just amazing. I guess some people, they tell me I don't see myself the way they see me, and it seems like you're the same. You don't see yourself the way other people see you.
The thing is, I think you and I have a lot of similar experiences that we've been around the world. We've been kicked around so much.
Kicked around a lot.
You're like, you know what? Confidence and humility are 2 sides of the same coin. Mm-hmm. In that,
absolutely.
That I'm confident and I know my skills, but I've also been kicked around to know that, you know what? I'm no better than anyone else. No.
Everybody have their own gifts.
Absolutely.
And how could we better? We, like I did yesterday with this light, we all need each other.
Yes.
Everybody have weaknesses and strength.
Mm-hmm.
And if we all just allow ourselves to be humbled a little bit, that's actually strength. Mm-hmm. You know. Anyway, if you have questions, jump in.
I
wish we have another hour.
I know. Well, I was so inspired listening to about your goal setting, and I choose to do this, and I choose to do that, and I, Lance Allred, will do this. And then you achieved those goals, and that was a powerful thing. But then you said you were in the court and in the NBA, and you were doing that free throw, and you said, "Is this all there is?" And you said you got into a depression. So how did you pull yourself out of that? Because you kind of like built your whole life upon getting to that moment. Yeah,
that's a very good question.
Like that. Very, very deep question.
Yes. Yes. I told you I'd put you on the hot seat.
You did. I don't know. Some people may call it a nervous breakdown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I had a breakdown of the nervous system.
Okay.
And that I had deconstructed so much that really I almost killed myself. I'm a very strong physical man, but it took me about 2 months to recover. I had to leave this team in Italy and come back home and just recover. And from there, I started doing a lot of my own, hey, what is this thought in my head? Because when I was about to jump out of the window, the phone rang. And I remember like something in my brain had switched off. Part of it like went to sleep, but then I heard the phone ringing as though I heard it for the first time.
Wow.
And then I noticed that there was a second person in my head. And I call him the Watcher. So Napoleon Hill calls it the other self. That's what I believe he was talking about. And that I learned to realize ego is where I had been all my life, playing this game of everyone else's projection, living in this collective consciousness of pain and competition. And when I had that clarity, I didn't know what to call it at the time. But when I was doing a lot of just relaxing recovery, I started to really sit back and say, okay, instead of saying like, I want this, or Lance is hungry, or I started doing little tricks in my head saying, it is hungry. It wants to go to the bathroom. It wants to go to bed. So I was kind of like detaching myself from this story that I was constantly living in. And that gave me clarity. And at the same time, that's when I started reading Wayne Dyer. And obviously I'm still grieving because I had the goal that this may not ever come true. I had a goal that I would get to shake Wayne Dyer's hand and say thank you, because he helped me. He helped me greatly. And that hasn't happened yet. Somehow, I don't know. Hopefully it happens somehow. Rest in peace wherever he is.
Yeah.
And so that process was a very slow journey. But again, I had to really start questioning not just my reality, but every thought that came inside my head. It's like, why do I feel?
Yourself.
Why do I feel this anxiety? Why does me going to the grocery store right now make me feel anxious? So I started to become aware of my emotions and started going underneath those emotions and started to ask, what are the triggers of that emotion? Where is the underlying story beneath all that I'm holding on to? You have to realize so much of us hold on to that story. So what I was doing, playing my whole life trying to get to the NBA, I was holding on to this story that burned like a hot coal, that I had been told that God had made me deaf. So it was a story that for me was a merit badge. Even though it hurt so badly to hold on to it, it was my identity. And so I could not let it go. And so many of us in our lives have trauma, but we hold on to that trauma as though it's a merit badge, a source of our identity, and we do not know how to just drop it, because it is, we think, who we are. And so we continue to create more pain in our lives, trying to avoid the source of original pain and address that story.
I was holding on, as you know, my brother's story, when I left the room, I was holding on. I should have, could have, would have gone in and saved him, or I shouldn't really get up to get his tea. He shouldn't get up to get his tea, and I should be that. And every smile on my face, I felt guilty, and I carried that. It became my story for years. You know, it's hard to overcome that. I mean, in the middle of the night, sometimes I wake up. I used to wake up. I still have it maybe every 10 years or something now, but I used to wake up with the bomb, the sound of the bomb in my head. It's like literally there. I'm reliving it. So yes, you carry the story and you carry what you're stuck with it, but something else has to shift and take that away from you and replace it with something different. And then I had to work through that.
No, the thing is, but most people, they come to such a point of pain, they either have to kill themselves or they have to shift. So what you did is you stood back and start to study yourself. Why I'm doing this, why I'm doing this. Exactly, and are these stories true?
I agree with that, because I did some of that myself.
I hear people say these stories all the time. I ask, okay, well, first off, just take a step back. Do you know the story to be true? No. Most people can say no. There is no such thing as absolute truth. We like to think there is. We like to try to live in a black and white world, but there's no such thing. There's no such thing at all. And I think you wanted to hear something about leadership. And before we end, I'll give you one quick little mark. I have 7 marks. One quick little
fast,
one.
because we want to give you a website.
Okay.
Yes.
Integrity. Here's how I define integrity. Everyone has a different definition of it. And I can't give the whole thing, but I'll give my little thing. I ask myself in a question. Am I the same person in every room that I walk into?
You know what we're going to do?
That's how I define integrity.
You know what we're going to do? How does that sound? We're going to do a webinar, live webinar, where everybody could come into the room and ask you questions. We want you there to answer some questions. And we will do webinar maybe this couple months coming up. And that will be awesome to have you on the webinar. And this way we get to see you again.
Absolutely, it'll be fun. It'll be fun.
So great. If you're watching live right now, great. It was great having you with us. If you're watching this segment somewhere on the internet, you could watch all of the segments on akandtheexperts.com. Until next week, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having you. Thank you, Stephanie. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Thank you.